Why using ad blocking software is piracy. There was a discussion in the comments the other day regarding AdSense and blocking ads. And I pointed out, and some of you argued with me, that ad blocking is piracy. And the logic follows pretty simply. What is piracy? Piracy is acquiring content without paying for it against the terms of service or the usage rights. You know, obviously if you acquire content that is truly free, it's not piracy. How do I get paid for my content? Or how do other web publishers get paid for their content? They get paid for their content based on the ads that run alongside it. So, if you block the ads and you consume the content, you are acquiring that content without the publisher being paid. So, you're pirating that content. Now, you may not think that the number of ads that you would have clicked, viewed, whatever, add up to much. But just as an example, if you're a web publisher and you're making, we'll pick a nice round number, $1,000 a month through AdSense, PubCenter, Kantara, whatever it is that you are monetizing with, and you're paying $100 for hosting, and you're paying, you know, $100 a month for advertising to promote your products. You're actually going to some conferences, so you've got to pay for your conference passes, and you're traveling to some places to get interviews. Well, you may only be making $500 a month after you've paid your expenses. Now, if 20% of your audience installs ad blockers, you go from $1,000 a month to $800 a month. And your net profits go from $500 a month to $300 a month. So that's a big difference. You know, the difference between $800 and $1,000 a month may not seem like a whole lot, but the difference between making $300 a month and making $500 a month is quite a bit of difference. And that only scales up as you get bigger. You know, if you're talking about a very large organization, you may be running at 20% margin. And so if 10% of your people suddenly install an ad blocker, you're not changing your gross returns, you're changing your profits by like 50%. So ad blockers are bad. A couple of you have pointed out that, what about pop-up blockers? Doesn't Google Chrome have a pop-up blocker, and IE have a pop-up blocker, and all those other things have pop-up blockers? Yes, and pop-up blockers are a kind of weird one, because I think that because enough places have integrated pop-up blockers, that it's fairly safe to say that the pop-up portion of HTML is no longer valid. You can't put pop-up code onto your pages and expect it to work. And therefore, having a pop-up blocker is really just now part of the HTML standard, that all pop-ups are optional. And for the most part, you've seen real websites go away from using pop-ups, and the only people that are using pop-ups these days are spam sites that aren't providing real content anyway. There are probably some of you that will point out a dozen exceptions, but for the most part, pop-ups are dead, and all of the major browsers have implemented pop-up blocking, so you can just say that's no longer a feature of the HTML standard. But in my opinion, ad blockers are piracy, and this is your one chance to argue with me, because I normally will kill a thread or remove your comments if you talk about pirating content. So if you want to leave long sonnets about why it's okay to block ads, this is the thread and channel you can do it on. Do it in these comments, don't do it in the other comment threads. Because if you do it on the other comment threads, it's piracy, and I will remove your comment.